you can see this next comedian getting groped at Alpha Dogs at 2 in the morning. Please, everybody, give it up for Matt Kluge.
Every time, Brandon.
I can do it.
Hey, Mom. As Brandon pointed out, I have been groped twice at Alpha Dogs, which is probably why they don't have a Yelp page. Because I feel like that would put a huge damper on their reviews. That, and I'm usually drunk when I get their food. But it would be like, oh, great food, great prices, was groped, 2 out of 5. That's actually why I've started going there before drinking and get my food. But that also kind of affected the reviews, because now it's like, oh, good food, good prices, wasn't groped. Finally realized, hey, they forgot the pickles, 2 out of 5 stars. And that's the crazy thing about Yelp, is that if you own a restaurant, or you're just involved in the restaurant business, Yelp is a huge deal. Like, I used to work at a restaurant, and just for like shits and giggles, I went on our Yelp page, and I found the one bad review. And the guy's entire argument was basically, they didn't ask me for dessert. And I was like, listen, you fucker. I haven't worked there in 2 years, but I will have you know that we don't serve dessert. Like, you can't just complain about things the company does if they don't actually do that thing. Like, I have never went to a Barnes & Noble and was like, excuse me, I can't find your guys' pants. Or I'm not gonna like call up the Oshkosh Corporation and be like, hey, listen, can you guys build me a bike? Like, I know you guys build like stuff for the military, but I really need a bike. Like, I want to like, maybe I might go to Afghanistan and I want to ride my bike. Can you guys handle that for me? No, I have to get a custom. That makes way more sense. I'm sorry, Oshkosh Corporation. So I was walking down Main Street writing this joke when a little 4-year-old boy came up to me and he asked me if I was his daddy. Like, he didn't come up to me by himself. His mom was right there. That was the worst part of it. She was also like 35. And my immediate reaction was, I hope not. And it was supposed to come out as like, oh, I hope not, because that would have meant I made a terrible decision at the age of 18. But really, I think, like, to them it came out as, God, I hope not. My son would never wear an Iron Man shirt when he knows that Batman is obviously superior. So I love game shows. And I actually auditioned for my mom's favorite game show, Wheel of Fortune. And it was during one of their theme weeks. Like, you know how they have Cruise Week and Hawaii Week? It turns out I was there for Detroit Week. Every single tile was a bankrupt. I recently read an interesting fact today that in an average flock of ducks, about 19% of the mallard pairs are gay, which is why I feel like the guys from Duck Dynasty are constantly shooting at them. I also found out that about 9% of rams are also gay, which if you were like me and you watched a lot of SportsCenter over the summer, you would think that would have been a way higher number. So growing up in Hortonville, I realized that I really hate country music fans. Actually, let me be more specific. I hate country music fans who feel the need to prove they're country music fans. Like, I know this girl, and she had twin boys, and she named them Luke and Brian. And she was like, oh, Matt, do you get it? You get it? And I was like, listen, I don't want to crash your party. You can tell the people who didn't go to college. So like, why would you name your kid Luke and Brian? Like, what were you thinking? Did you drink a beer? Was your husband just kind of looking out the window and was like, Rain's a good thing. Thank you, I'll be here all week. So, I think like my least favorite singer though is probably Alan Jackson. And it's purely because I'm jealous of him, because he had the greatest idea as a country singer ever. Because see, every time your song is played on the radio, you get a little bit of money. So he wrote this novelty song with Jimmy Buffett called It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere. And so that way, every single country music station in America plays that song at 5 o'clock. And it's so annoying because the lyrics say that it takes place at noon. But Alan Jackson doesn't care because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I think, but my least favorite country song though is probably "She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy" by Kenny Chesney. Like, that song came out October 4th, 1999. We are literally 5,472 days from that song first coming out on the radio. And if I had $1 for every time someone from Hortonville mentioned that song to me, or if I had $1 for every time I actually heard the song, I would have enough money to buy a tractor, enough gas to drive to Kenny Chesney's house and punch him square in the face. Like, I don't even mind Kenny Chesney that much. Like, I don't care about his stupid hat. I just really hate "She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy." Like, just, oh my God, it's so infuriating. It's a terrible song. Because not only does no one think your tractor's sexy, Kenny Chesney, but it doesn't turn anyone on. That is why Renee Zellweger left you. They were married for like 4 months, but you guys got that joke, but you didn't get "She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy." Whatever. Anyway, one last joke before I'm out of here. But I recently read this story about a writer for Orange is the New Black divorced her husband after realizing that she was a lesbian. I feel like writing for Orange is the New Black is the best job to have when you realize that you're a lesbian. But I feel like it could have been way worse for her. Like, she could have been a writer for the new Jurassic Park movie, and then realized that she was a dinosaur this entire time. That would have just been so awkward for everyone involved. Like, her husband would have been like, "Oh, honey, I love you," and she would have been like, and then she would have eaten her husband, because that's what dinosaurs do. And then she would have to, like, go find a new mate. And then, since all the dinosaurs are extinct, she would have to go on Tinder, take a profile that says "not a dinosaur." She'd start wearing like a fake mustache, and then she would like go on a date, and her date would be like, "Wait a second, you're not Groucho Marx," because for some reason the people who make fake mustaches decided, "Hey, we should go for like the iconic mustache that only one person in history has ever had." Like, that would be like making fake sideburns of General Ambrose Burnside. You know, the Union General Ambrose Burnside. Thank you, the one teacher in the room. You know, I mean, he was a Union General. They named sideburns after him, even though they have existed long before him. That's how awesome his sideburns were. I feel like if you're going to make a fake mustache disguise of a famous mustache, it should be a Hitler stash. Just because there's so many people who have actually had Hitler stashes. Like, oh, maybe you're Adolf Hitler. Maybe you're Charlie Chaplin. Or maybe you're just current day Michael Jordan. Because for whatever reason, Michael Jordan decided to bring the Hitler stash back. And it's like, listen, the worst thing anyone has ever done with the Hitler stash is the Holocaust. But I feel like the second worst thing anyone has ever done with the Hitler stash is probably play for the Chicago White Sox. Thank you, everyone. I'm Max.